Hello, Denim Heads. This is David from the Sons of Selvedge podcast, here with another 5x1, where I tell you 5 things you need to know about one rugged good. And today we'll actually be talking about Tellason's Coverall Jacket in Selvedge Denim. So they've got 2 versions, a selvage and a non-selvage version. So here we go. All right, so number 1, there's actually 2 different versions of this jacket. You can get this in a selvage denim, like this is a Japanese Black Selvedge, which I'm not gonna lie, was on my wish list for like multiple years before I finally got my hands on it. I think it's the coolest looking black chore coat you can get. And if you get the selvage version, you got the selvage line around the neck and all down the interior of the placket. But you can also get it for a cheaper price if you get a non-selvage version as well, or like an over-dyed canvas version. So keep that in mind when you're taking a look. Number 2, which is actually probably the top selling point of this jacket, is the asymmetrical pockets. So number 1 here, you've got this big giant newspaper pocket, which I would actually argue is basically like a wine bottle pocket, or maybe a 40 if you're into drinking those. This is super huge, and I think Pete was doing a video where he like threw a sledgehammer in it or something like that. So also got this nice pen pocket hidden behind the chest here. There's another pocket on the inside of the garment, which you can't see. And then, exterior button pocket with a pencil or pen slot, and exterior non-buttoning pocket that's laid on top of the newspaper pocket. So a lot of asymmetry, and I actually think that's a selling point of this jacket, because if you got options on both sides, you don't have the same exact pockets on both sides. So number 3 is about some of the pocket design choices. Though I love the asymmetry, this pocket actually was originally divided from about here to here with a stitch that made this into 2 separate sections, which I actually am not a big fan of. I like to be able to put my hands in both sides, which I could technically do, but it's easier now because I took a seam ripper and gently removed that stitch. So there's now just one single pocket. I recommend that Tellason potentially change their design or implementation in that regard. Furthermore, the interior pocket here was probably perfectly fine for a phone a couple years ago, but with the size of modern phones, they actually don't fit in this anymore. And I'm not really sure what you could use that pocket for these days. I might suggest that Tellason either resize the pocket to match the exterior one, or maybe even just take it off the garment. So number 4 is about what you get and how this jacket's made. So everything Tellason makes is made in San Francisco. They actually work with the jeans factory in San Francisco, because for them, having domestic production is like the key USP of their brand. So you're getting a US-made garment. You're getting some really good details in this, whether it's the design details, whether it's your Japanese selvage fabric, things like leather reinforcements behind the washers. I think you get a lot for what you pay with anything Tellason makes, and I'm really happy with this garment. Of course, there are some kind of like areas where the production's not the best in the world. Like some of the stitching is not bias taped, etc. But it doesn't matter, because I feel like what I'm getting for my price is a great domestic product that's made to last with good design thinking behind it. Number 5, I'm going to talk a little bit about sizing. So I bought a large, whereas I arguably speaking probably could have actually taken a medium in this garment. So both Pete and Tony are pretty big dudes. They're both quite tall. And I think their sizing reflects that. So like in a large, this actually has a 20-inch shoulder measurement. And I think in a medium, it would be a 19. Why that's relevant is the shoulder's quite broad compared to the rest of the fit. So like the ratio of a 20-inch shoulder to the chest measurement, which I think was something like 23 inch, is a really interesting ratio, because a lot of garments will be quite small in the shoulder, but still wide in the chest. But this is actually wide in the chest and also in the shoulder. So if you're a broad-shouldered dude, this is going to fit you really well. And for me, I found that was a key selling point, was that broad shoulder. So yeah, great detail.